Hey guys, this is not a movement breakdown. This is a conceptual overview of something that I need you guys to start thinking about. And our entire coaching staff, I think, needs to be aware of this concept and start utilizing it in the classroom. And the concept is, I guess for lack of a better word, it's identifying and calling out the elephant in the room. And so let me backtrack. We have to understand that there's a psychological element to the enjoyability factor that our athletes that we're trying to control with our athletes. So we want our athletes to really enjoy their time in a studio, regardless of the workout, regardless of the time of day. We want them to come in, regardless of the coach, and just enjoy themselves. And so we have to understand that there's some psychology involved in that. And the elephant in the room concept is basically about figuring out all the things, in particular the one or two really pronounced things about a class or about a workout or about a situation that would decrease enjoyability, and then rather than running from it, rather than pretending it doesn't exist, the concept is about calling it out and putting a positive spin on it. All right. So I've done enough auditing in the last few weeks to see that there's a miss in our class experience with this. Let me give you a really easy example to wrap your head around. If we have a workout that has 3 movements and it's 5, 10, 15, and you're going to do that for 20 minutes, and theoretically the movements are air squats, pull-ups, and push-ups. So not a ton of complexity in terms of needing to rest and needing to set up and really think. It's pretty basic, and what we know about a workout like that is it's going to be a grind. Some workouts, sometimes 20 minutes feels like 10 minutes, and sometimes 20 minutes feels like 30 minutes. And on a workout like that, it's going to feel more like 30 minutes. It's going to be a grind. Now, there's a conversation to be had about whether or not we should be programming workouts like that. But for the time being, we still embrace some of those challenging workouts and some of those grind-style workouts. Now, if you look at the board or you look at the programming document and you see that and you know it's going to be a grind, we have to call that elephant out at the chalkboard. So here's what it might sound like. It might sound like this. Imagine me at the chalkboard. Hey everybody, 3 movements today, relatively low complexity movements. This is going to be a grindable workout. And anytime we have a grindable workout like this, what ends up happening is at about 12 minutes in, you start to defeat yourself. You start to go into all the negative spaces in your mind. I'm telling you right now, hey, we don't do these very often. Once in a while they pop up. They're really, really good for developing mental toughness. Frankly, they're really, really good for your fitness because we keep it simple and we're getting a high volume in just a few movements. I need you to embrace the challenge today. I know it's probably not going to go down in history as the most entertaining workout that you ever did, or the one that you put at the top of the list is the one you want to see repeated, but once in a while we've got to go for this challenge, all right? And then pause for a second. As a coach, what I'm looking for in that room is I'm looking for head nods, I'm looking for affirmation, and because I'm serious about it. We're trying to get ahead of the problem. If we don't do that, what ends up happening is at the 12-minute mark of a 20-minute workout, people start to hate the workout and they project that onto everything about alchemy. They start disliking the workout, so they think the programming is just generally bad. They start thinking, the coach is doing a bad job because they don't like that class. They start thinking the music sucks. They start thinking, I don't like training at Alchemy. This isn't what I pay for. I'm gonna bail. If, on the other hand, we acknowledge that at the chalkboard, then at the 12-minute mark, we can start shouting out what we already acknowledged. Hey, everybody, I told you we were gonna come to this point. This is the heart of the grind. I mentioned this at the chalkboard. You gotta stay tough. And what you've done is you've manipulated the psychology of your athletes so that they are not able to go into those dark places. You've gotten ahead of them on that. There are countless examples of that. If there's a really crowded class, don't pretend it's not crowded. Acknowledge it. Hey everybody, maybe even start 2 minutes late because you've been shuffling around the room finding spots for people. Hey everybody, I know it's crowded in here. We're going to turn this into a positive. The energy is going to be through the roof today. I love full classes, all right? Listen, if you're already anxious, I'm going to make sure that we have enough space. We'll do what we need to do. This is going to be a great workout. Don't pretend it's not crowded, all right? If it's empty, Consolidate everybody to a few small, a 12 by 12 square foot space in the room if you got 3 athletes. Acknowledge it. Hey, obviously an unusually small class, 3 people, we're still going to rock this. We're going to lean in on each other. We're going to get to know each other. We're going to have an amazing workout today. If there are 50 pull-ups on the board, don't pretend there aren't 50 pull-ups on the board. Call it out. Hey guys, look at the board. What do you see? 50 pull-ups. All right, let's just call a spade a spade. That's going to be a lot of work. Don't defeat yourself already. Don't go into that negative hate space. Treat it as an opportunity to get a little bit better, to push out your comfort zone. If you need to cut that into 25, we can cut it into 25. If you want to tackle 50 and do it in sets of 3, that's okay too. But I'm telling you right now, 50 is a lot. I know it's a lot. I know it's going to be a grind. The hands are going to hurt. It's a lot of reps. You're going to be standing around checking it out. I know that's going to happen. You need to know it's going to happen too. Don't feel bad when it happens. L-sits came up on Built Body today. That's the impetus for this entire conversation. L-sits are one of the absolute best ways to develop abdominal and core strength. They're unbelievably effective at that. But they're hated because they're hard and people struggle with them. So when I coached my morning class this morning and I was talking about L-sits, I made it a really, really clear point. I said, guys, listen. I know L-sits don't go down in history as everybody's favorite core workout, right? But they're so good for you. If you want to develop strength in your abs, this is a great tool. We don't do them all the time. We're only going to do 7 rounds, 30 seconds rounds, and it's going to be 3.5 minutes total in your entire life that I'm asking for L-sits. I know they're not your favorite, but let's embrace the challenge. And what I got was positivity, I got head nods, and I got out in front of it so that when people, were kicking up into an L-sit and only lasting 5 seconds, they didn't feel bad, they didn't feel defeated, they didn't feel like alchemy sucked. Hey, coach already told me this was gonna happen. And so they knew that they were right where they were supposed to be, right on track. And of course, I was being repetitive about that in the workout, reminding them that I said that, reminding them of the challenge that they had chosen to embrace. The concept here is identifying and calling out the elephant in the room. Is it a crowded class? Call it out, make it positive. Is it a workout that is maybe more of a grind and not the most entertaining workout in the world? Call it out, acknowledge it, make it a positive. Is it a movement pattern that's clunky and feels a little weird? Call it out. Hey, I understand. Hang power cleans. Talking Built Body. Hang power cleans with a barbell. Maybe a challenging movement for people. Maybe you're new to this. Don't worry about it. The trajectory of development in this movement takes a while. So if you go back to your bar and your first repetition feels clunky and weird and you feel a little embarrassed, don't feel embarrassed. I'm here to help. We all have to start somewhere. It's a great movement. There's a huge return on investment. That's why we do it. Just embrace the challenge. Let's get into it, and we're gonna have a great class today. Acknowledge the elephant in the room. Call it out. Get in front of it. Manipulate the psychology of your athletes so that they never go into the negative space about the thing we all know is going to be true about a workout or a class experience. We need to do more of that. As you're preparing for your class today, look at the board. What's the elephant? What is the big elephant in the room? There's not always one. There's usually something that you can call out. And if you can get in control of that and you can call it out at the chalkboard, you're going to make the athlete's enjoyability and the level of their experience much, much better. If you have questions about this, please post it in the comments. Let me know because this is so, so important and I think one of our biggest areas of opportunity. I know many would disagree. I just don't believe in the concept of especially the way we train, of like bad workouts or like bad classes. I think there's only just the perspective that we have to control. Now I know that some are better than others, but if we can control that perspective and put ourselves into the positive headspace, we will be able to enjoy or increase enjoyability in our classes. So again, comments, post them below. The concept is call out the elephant in the room. Let's do more of that. That's it. Thanks.